they did at least 10, 15 years, regularly. Over Ekadashi, they will wake up at night and talk Krishna Katha. But I don't know, I would like to sleep. I wouldn't know Krishna. But anyway, they were doing that you have to stop eating grain 18 hours before the Ekadashi starts. So no grain would be staying in your stomach. It is that kind of, strictness is there. Because Annat Bhavanti Bhutani. Only the grains are the cause of bodily conception. So on that day we have to get rid of bodily conception. So whenever you think the last meal which was containing grain, but let it be before 18 hours. Because in 18 hours it will change. So body should not touch the grain even. What to speak of external? Only during the parna time. So that means 18 hours plus 24 hours. Oh, 36? No, 40 hours. 40. So, many hours of fasting. Yeah. Nobody knew that. Come on, this is what is written. Yeah. And it's also been described that one may also stay awake for 24 hours. Stay up during the day and night. When I give class on observing Ekadashi, devotees often raise the point that Prabhupada never really instructed to us to observe Ekadashi in this way. I mean, Bhakti Charukam is because it is surprise that Prabhupada never told. You do not know what Prabhupada said. But actually in Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada says that devotees may stay awake the whole night. Singing the glories of the Lord, fasting. So Prabhupada actually did instruct us to stay up all night as well. It's actually not a very difficult thing. I'm a diabetic, so. What do you think?
I never remember.
Since you made it through. We have excuses of old bodies, right? We have excuses of old bodies. Please. Your blessing. Right. Alright. You should recommend recommend the avoidance of the mixed Ekadashi and the performance of pure Ekadashi. There is also there is an overlapping time period where generally if Ekadashi is extended to the next day for Dvadashi, then you should perform Dvadashi, not the Ekadashi. Sometimes the Ekadashi begins not necessarily in early morning, but it starts later. So it is overlapping the next day. So that is called Dvadashi. So better perform Dvadashi fast for Ekadashi. So that is that. It's an overlapping period. Many a times the overlapping period is there. We are still in overlapping period of Dwapara Yuga, which is going on in Kali Yuga. Therefore, deity worship is still, deity worship was supposed to be for Dwapara Yuga, not Kali Yuga, only holy name. So we are having the best of both. This is called conjunction period. Alright. So perhaps you have noticed that sometimes we do not fast on Ekadashi, but we fast on Dvadashi. The reason we do this is that Ekadashi is mixed. That is, Dashami enters into Ekadashi when the 10th day overlaps the 11th day, it is to be mixed or penetrated, means overlapping. And one does not fast on that Ekadashi, but instead fast on the next day, that is Dvadashi. That is the 12th day. And it has been described that fasting on a Mahadvadashi is 1,000 times more potent than fasting on Ekadashi. Now, where is that calculation coming from? In glorification of Ekadashi. The purpose of all Ekadashi to be performed is to get rid of the Papapurusha which is coming to the grain. And not Bhavanti Gata, right? The Papapurusha enters through the grain. Therefore we avoid the grain. Right? What is Papapurusha? Everything is personified because it is the potency with the qualities when mixed, it becomes manifestation of a personality. So, in Ekadashi Katha, this is the primary understanding that all these days of a week have been taken away by the demigods for their protection. The people who believe in them, they will fast on that day and they get the benefit. Parasparam, you know, in Bhagavad Gita, Devayatanena bhavena. So, parasparam, for mutual benefit between the mankind and the demigods who are the controlling agents of our internal activity, we should, we are given Yogya Shrishtas Inosantu Munchante Sarvatin Vishwai Bhunjante Te Shukam Bhava Epachatya Atmakarana. This is a mutual thing. We don't offer to demigods the bhoga. We offer prasadam to, and prasadam has to be distributed. All our internal functionality is conducted by the demigods. We do not conduct. Why would Krishna then say, Aham Vaishnava Bhutva Praninam Dehamasritam Pranapana Samayuktam Pachanyam Chaturvidam. I am the fire of digestion called Vaishnava. I am sitting. And you feed me chicken and tell me to digest it. You do not digest. What an offense. We want to define the system that has been coming down for a mutual understanding. Otherwise, who knows what is our functionality which is out of our control when anything internal thing happened to us? We are not in control. Only we are in control to defile the whole body and its functionality. Krishna has arranged. You may look like Krishna or two-handed form, but you are perverted reflection. And having a perverted reflection, we are still having perverted intentions, desires, and then we spoil our life. So, it's for the mutual controlling entities, they are demigods, and they are in every body. They expand. You are not Bhimsen, you know, but Bhimsen had a fire of digestion called Drupada. That was something, concentrated, very powerful fire in the body. And we can't compete it. Ours is Vaishnava. And Krishna says, that is me. Gurukhodan is also Krishna. But the point is that somehow or another we violate. Why do we violate? That's the nature of Homo sapiens. Number 9th creation of Lord Brahma. Brahma did 10 types of creations. Right? Starting from single cell entities all the way up to quadruples who are subjugated and they have to work under the laws of nature. Laws of nature. So they don't violate. They have their whole function of eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Under the nature's control. But number 9 creation is human being. And Maitreya Muni is describing, without listen this, it's a very peculiar, somewhat obstinate character in number 9. Arvak strotra tu navamam kshattam eko vidondranam rajodika karmapara dukkhecha sukhamani. They are pertaining to human being. It's called Nara. That is 9th creation is Nara. And his stomach is upside down. It's a game. Suppose if you don't have stomach, what is your life? Okay. I shouldn't speak because we are waiting for Prashad. But the fact is that Arvak Strotram, Arvak means upside down. Our stomach became upside down, perpendicular to the Mother Earth, not horizontal like all the animals, those who are dependent upon Mother Nature. They cannot violate. But human being is a violator. He stood on 2 legs, so his stomach became upside down, like hanging. Arvak means hanging. And hanging stomach never gets satisfied. Never gets satisfied. The Arvak Strotra Nama, Kshattam is Vedu, Evam Vidondranam, it's called Nara, Rajodika. Brahma came, more Rajogun in them, so they become hyperactive. They do not live like animals, otherwise they are called animals. If they do not live like human beings, they are animals, right? So, Rajo Adhika, they become hyperactive. Karma para, they are always having activities. Look at these karma para kids. Right? Karma para kids. That is more of passion. Rajo adhika karma para and dukkhecha sukhamani. Even though they are surrounded by miseries, they still try to extract sukha from the miseries. So your counting of sukha is dependent upon how much miseries you have. Miseries are the basis of our counting how much sukha I have. You have less miseries than me, so you are thinking you are more happier than me. So dukkhecha sukhaman. If dukh becomes your standard of calculation for sukha, isn't it stupid? Can you count your miseries on the account of, or on the standard of how much miseries you have? In other words, if we don't work, then miseries are going to come anyway. Better work. And then get entangled. Is it a happy entanglement or miserable? So, our estimation of happiness in this material world is so vague that we have to depend upon calculation of that happiness on the basis of dukkha. Dukkha is there. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha dosha anudarshana. All these four processes are miserable. So, this is peculiarity of number 9th creation. Number 10th creation is demigods and demons. Very powerful. Superb. Even the demons are powerful. And demigods are also powerful. Demigods like Indra can also make mistakes and he will be cursed. The Nal Kuber and Manigri both were cursed, misusing their positions, and demigods are coming. But at the same time, Prahlad also came from demon side to become pure devotee. Right? So, they are higher beings, very powerful, determined, both demigods and demons. And they always keep fighting. There is never a truce. There is never a truce. Like Israel and Hamas. Never a truce. Anyway, so we see that we need to follow rules and regulations in order to keep ourselves disentangled. That we may not be entangled in such a way that we will never have any remedy. So we have to be very careful. You should also describe the fault in not observing this. One should be very careful as far as these items are concerned. If one is not careful, one will be negligent in executing devotional service. Devotional service has its own rules and regulations. But becoming conversant to all this, way of living in a Vaishnava life will promote to come closer to performance of pure devotional service. Whatever you say about Vaishnava behavior, the establishment of Vaishnava temples and deities and everything else should be supported by evidence from the Puranas. You should give general and specific descriptions of the behavior and activities of Vaishnava. You should outline things that are to be done and things that are not to be done. All this should be described as regulations and etiquettes. Alright? So, Srila Prabhupada is talking about Vaishnava etiquette, and these are the quotes. We should become familiar, and then we will teach something regarding this Vaishnava etiquette. All inhabitants of Vrindavan are Vaishnavas. They are all auspicious because somehow or other they always chant the holy name of Krishna. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita Leela, 5th chapter, 232, verse purpose. So here we also must understand one thing, that all of the devotees in ISKCON are Vaishnavas because somehow or another they are chanting the holy name. Prabhupada is giving the qualification of a Vaishnava. One should consider all the inhabitants of Vrindavan Vaishnavas. Why? Because somehow or another they chant the holy name of the Lord. So what to talk of the devotees of ISKCON, we should be very respectful, all the devotees knowing well that they are all Vaishnavas. The biggest hindrance in our spiritual progress is Vaishnava aparad. It is actually a very dangerous offense. We must be very careful about committing Vaishnava aparad. Even though some of them do not strictly follow the rules and regulations of devotional service, on the whole, they are devotees of Krishna and chant his name directly or indirectly. This is a very important instruction. Actually, the whole Vaishnava etiquette or the whole Vaishnava culture is founded on this principle. What is that? We have to chant Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And we should try to follow the rules and regulations of devotional service. If somebody is unable to do, means there are some exceptions, we can't imitate the exceptions. We must follow the rules and regulations. And those who are unable to, we should not criticize them. Because somehow or other, they are chanting. So, but they may not progress that goes because they may not know this system. But nonetheless, they have a tradition to always think of Krishna because they are in the Dham. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, 7th chapter, 50th verse, purport, a Vaishnava should be tolerant like a tree and submissive like a grass. What do you mean by this case? Haribol, what do you mean by a Vaishnava should be more tolerant than a tree and should be humble like a grass? Come on. So come on. Yeah. Oh, Kerala group. Yeah, right on time. We haven't started Prashadam yet.
Sorry, I wanted to sit on the floor.
Yeah, Vaishnava is supposed to be joking. But it doesn't mean that he is hello. So we have to cultivate the tolerance like a tree means no complaint. Whatever may go through, whether hard or always hope, but you don't have to do extra efforts materially to get rid of those spiritual